Hey guys, what's going on? It's Billy Break here, former TCG player. Won a couple tournaments over there, but I don't play the TCG anymore. I play Duel Links now, trying to win some Duel Links tournaments. But a new mini box came out a few days ago, and I know a lot of people like to on their YouTube channels for Duel Links. They like to post oh, brand new news, breaking news. This is coming to Duel Links. It's leaked and whatever information. And I'm not so much about the news and trying to be the first person to tell you what's coming. More so I just want to give you my thoughts. So I like to wait till the sets come out and I actually play with the cards, play against some of the cards before I give you a video like this where I'm going to talk about the top 5 cards from this mini box that I think are going to have an impact on the meta and change what decks are played and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're wondering wow, I already knew this set was out. Well, this isn't really to tell you hey, this set's out. I'm just here to tell you my thoughts on the set relating to the game itself, and not just read you the news. I'm not just trying to be a news anchor. But anyway, so today the Rampage of the Forest is a really great mini box, relative to the power creep is increasing. We're getting stronger and stronger cards that have more and more effects, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because obviously that's what happened to the TCG, and it kind of spiraled out of control. And we're getting cards that are coming out in the TCG in the past few months, or not even out in the TCG sometimes in the game, and mixing it with some of the older cards that used to be played, and obviously with the restricted format where there's no Xyz summoning, Synchro summoning, Link summoning, or did I forget one? No, I don't know. But it's kind of cool to see how new cards can interact and what would have happened with aliens and stuff. But all right, anyways, getting to the set, the card that's number 5 on my list, a lot of people are gonna think it's probably pretty low, is Doom Dozer. The reason, okay, so Doom Dozer's on the list. I think insects could have the potential to be good. I don't know how good they're gonna be. I played with them a little bit. They were all right. I only have one Doom Dozer, so I think if they're gonna be good, it's gonna be because of this card and the Resonance Insect. I think this guy, yeah, he's not on my list, but this card, if it's sent from the field of the graveyard, you can add one level 5 or higher insect monster from your deck to your hand, and if this card is banished, you can send one insect monster from your deck to the graveyard. So this lets you search for Doom Dozer, and then when you banish it to summon Doom Dozer, it dumps another guy, which is obviously pretty good to summon, another Doom Dozer after that. So obviously 2800, you can just special summon him, is pretty good. Can attack over most anything in Duel Links. And then alongside, if you do get it out with this guy, it would be untargetable and can't be destroyed by card effects. Great effects are Yu-Gi-Oh cards that have, or you can't do anything to them. But definitely, I think this card makes insects have a chance. If they didn't have this card, they wouldn't really... this is a boss monster, but this is a way better boss monster to just be able to summon and deal with things. And then obviously it has the milling effect, which is kind of more so a downside to Doom Dozer, more so than a benefit most of the time, unless, you're trying to deck your opponent out, I suppose. But I have it 5th because I don't think insects are going to be tier 1 necessarily, but they're going to be up there and people are going to play them, and I think it's because of this card. So all the other cards, since it's my top 5 most meta impacting cards, they're just, I have to put even if you're going to be wow, these all are all in the same deck. Well, that deck is, I think, one of the best decks that's in Duel Links, so it's obviously going to, if one of the best decks in Duel Links came out in this set, I'm going to have to talk about them. But number 4, we got that was, Doom Dozer was a super rare. This is going to be the first rare on the list. See, I could easily just talk about, top 5 cards. They're ultra rare, the super rare, the super rare, the super rare. But no, the rares are actually pretty good. They've been giving us good rares, the alien archetype in the last set and stuff. But we have World Carrot Champion. This card came out, to me, too late in the TCG. I mean, I'm sure there's some crazy decks maybe you could use it in, but I feel like it came out way too late in the TCG to be super good, because it would have been really good in, Plant decks back in the day. I can only imagine sending Glow Bolt from my hand, especially when this guy from my graveyard. Glow Bolt effect, bring it back, Synchro for Librarian, and still have your normal summon.
Settle down there.
Or Spore, banish. It makes Spore a level 5 tuner. This card would have been great in TCG at some point, but he's really good in this game. It's a 1900 Plant Dark, level 4. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one plant monster from your hand or face up from your side of the field, except this guy. Special summon this card. You can use the effective World Carrot Champion once per turn. I don't know why I decided to read his name the second time and said this guy the first time, but that's how it goes. So it's a 1900 monster that just keeps coming back every turn. You can get rid of your crappy plants from your hand, or cards like Rose Lover. Just bring them out, 1900. So yeah, you can summon Sylvan Marsh, execute the top 2, mill this guy, mill something, another Sylvan. I guess I should talk about that when I get to the next card. But anyways, this guy goes to your grave, pop a card, send the guy to your graveyard, special summon back, discard, banish Rose Lover. You have 3 monsters on your side of the field all of a sudden. And it's just a very high utility card, very useful, very solid, especially with like stuff like enemy controller. And it's just good to always have a monster that has such great stats to keep coming back, especially when your life points are only 4,000. All right, so number 3 on the list, we got my boy Sylvan Marsh Leaf. This guy's a rare. See, they didn't make him super rare. They could have made all the Sylvan super rare as far as I'm concerned, instead of like the other stuff like Rock Spirit maybe. But they didn't. Thank you. It makes it a little easier to get. I see you still got to go through the box like 3 times to get the other guy. But let's talk about Sylvan Marsh Leaf. They're all different attributes, all the Sylvans, I'm pretty sure. This guy's a water, level 3 plant. When this card is normal summoned, you can choose either 1 or 2. I don't know. Yeah, I guess there's reasons why you'd want to choose 1, but not really. I guess if you know the top cards of your deck, and yeah. But anyways, you must know you're going to choose 2. Then excavate that many cards from the top of your deck. Send any excavated plant type monsters to the graveyard. Also, place the other cards on the bottom of the deck in any order. If this card is excavated and sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target 1 monster on the field, destroy that target. 1500 attack, 1200 defense. Obviously, it's good. This is the one when it's excavated will destroy a monster, which is, yeah, the best effect. So, like, well, it's hard not to talk about without talking about the next card, the Koga Mushroom. That's obviously going to be on my list next. But let's say that guy flips face up. You excavate top 5. You're going to be able to destroy pretty much your opponent's entire field, like, at the start of your turn or at the end of their turn, depending if they attacked into the next guy or not. And you obviously need the one that destroys back row. He could just have the effect of destroying monsters and not the normal summoning excavating effect, and he would still be pretty good. But no, he's super solid. And like I said with the carrot weight, you could like summon Marsh Leaf, excavate 2, hit carrot weight, hit something else, get that effect. And let's say it has 1500 is not good enough, swap him out for a carrot weight. Or he'll just be on the field too. But super solid card. Let's see, what's next? This one, so I'm already down to, this is my number 2 on my list. This was number 1 on my list, like when I made my list before I practiced a lot. And I'll tell you why I switched it at the end. Excuse me. But alright, this card impacts the reason why it's so high is because I think it impacts the meta greatly. Because now if you're playing against a deck, playing Restart, Aroma Strategy, pretty soon, if they set a monster turn 1, like, you have to worry about it. If you don't get rid of it face down or something, if it's this card, excavating the top 5 cards of your deck is crazy. Let me go ahead and read it first, and then we can get more into it. But Sylvan Mushroom, or just Mushroom. I just call it, like, yeah, Sylvan Mushroom. He's a fire, level 2 plant. When this card's flipped face up, you can choose a number from 1 to 5, probably always 5 if you can. Then excavate that many cards from the top of your deck. Send any excavated plant monsters to the graveyard. Also place the other cards on the bottom of your deck in any order. If the excavated card from the top of the deck is into the graveyard, you can target 1 spell and trap card on the field, destroy that target. So, like Marsh Leaf destroys monsters, this guy destroys spell and trap cards. Obviously, destroying spell and trap cards is very, very good in Duel Links. You only have 3 back row. And yeah, his defense is really high. His flip effect is really good, because if you're playing a deck full of monsters, you're probably going to hit Rose Lover, Marsh Leaf, another one of these guys. And then it's just all downhill. This guy's a great starter. It makes setting a monster, it's always been kind of scary in Duel Links. Like, you don't really want to attack into it sometimes, depending on the duel skill, depending on what deck they're playing. But now, like, even if you don't attack into it, they can just flip it and still excavate 5 and potentially wipe your entire board. So cards like Dark World Lightning or, Cyber Angels, like Dakini being able to send it face down, Blackluster Soldier, the Sacred Soldier being able to banish it face down, those things are pretty important to try and deal with this card. This card is number 2 on this because I think it is it makes a set monster actually scary, no matter like what skill they have, because any skill could really be played with Sylvans, like any normal skill. But yeah, it was number 1 on my list, but I ended up switching it because it still is an archetype dependent card, and it's not going to impact the meta outside of making a deck that didn't exist before be very good. So I had to switch it to the card that I think you can play in any deck, and that, of course, would be Hey True Nade. I really think Hey True Nade is like... read it. Return all set spell and trap cards on the field to the hand. Okay, so it's not as good as Giant True Nade because it doesn't bounce face up cards, right? That's why it's only 1 face and not 2, because it's only doing face down. I remember when this card came on the TCG, I wasn't playing, but I saw a copy of it, and I was like, hey, True Nade, this is interesting. And I think I even had the thought, we talked about, like, this card would be pretty good in Duel Links. I didn't expect to get it this soon. But obviously, back row decks have been a problem. It won't bounce back cards like Temple of the Mind's Eye. They can change stuff like Powerful Birth, Red Eye Spirit, Enemy Controller. But before, I was only mainly playing Red Eye Zombie, Straight to the Grave with Bones, because you get to start with a field spell, right? And then you can play Storm, which lets you destroy 3 your own spell or trap cards to destroy that many, so you'd be able to destroy 3. And it was the only way to destroy 3 back row with 1 card. And that's why I was playing that skill, just mainly for that reason. And now, if they have 3 back row face down, I can activate 1 card, put them all back, and not have to worry about it. Cyber Angels, it's an OTK deck, but the downside is they have Enemy Controller, take your guy. Hey, True Nade, put those all back in your hand, get OTK'd. This card works really... Now that we're having a lot of combo decks, there's a lot of combo decks that can OTK you in 1 turn. You only have 4,000 life points. This is the perfect card just to slide right in there, bounce all their backers back. I think it fits into a lot of decks in the current meta. I think it will fit into a lot of decks in the current meta and be the most impactful card out of this entire set in Duel Links from here on out. But, yep, that is Rampage of the Forest. Don't really have anything else to say about it. Let's see. There's a couple...
Your honorable mentions?
Yeah, I guess I was going to say I have a couple honorable mentions. Obviously, the Cocoon's all right, but Memory Loss, it's just like it was in the TCG. It came out as a common. I actually wrote an article about it before it came out in the TCG a long time ago. It's okay. In one day it might be good because, I mean, obviously putting a monster in defense mode is good in Duel Links, but the way the back row removal is now, and the way there isn't like too many monster effects that activate, like you hit this on like a normal summon Delta or something, I guess that's good. But it's just Cyber Angel Dakini. There's just better cards right now, and I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be like the TCG. But this card doesn't see much play, but there's definitely an honorable mention. And the Winged Rhino. This guy, during either player's turn, when a trap card is activated, accepting the damage step, you can return this card from the field to the hand. So this guy just keeps bouncing. He's like a wind-up rabbit kind of thing, and I think he has a lot of potential to be good.
Well, it's good because the only cards that people play right now are like Wall of Disruption and stuff anyway.
Yeah, this card
completely
completely counters those. But as long as like Enemy Controller and Super Headlong are going to be like around in Duel Links, who knows if we'll ever actually be able to see any play.
Work? If they attack with the Rhino, and then Wall of Disruption, does it resolve?
It bounces.
Hand, yeah. They only lose 800 as opposed to 1,600?
Yep, that's how it works. But yeah, thanks for watching. That's my thoughts on Rampage of the Forest, and I'll be back with some more Duel Links videos soon. Thanks for watching, guys.